What is up, everyone? This is the Spaceless Realms Podcast, and we are here. It's the evening for both me and Kalki, so we've spent our day doing very good things, just like chilling and relaxing. And that also ties into what we were going to be speaking about is what we do on a daily basis and how that ties into our potential. Like if you were to look at your life on a third person perspective and watch yourself like how like a bird watches over you, then you would see this person's daily actions and how those daily actions lead them to certain spots or lead them to either reaping the rewards that they've sown or either being at the demise of the actions that they've taken. Recently, I've gotten into playing chess, and I see how life is like a chess game. It's very correlated in that way. So yeah, everything has action and a reaction, of course, but it's so simple that it's often very neglected. So yeah, patience is key. Kalki, that was the introduction. Welcome, my brother.
Yo, thank you for that. You killed it right off the bat, right?
Yeah,
Like that. Like you just wrapped up existence in one nutshell. You
yeah,
explained the whole of the conundrum of reality in
yeah.
one sentence like that. That was like, they often tell us in academia and so-called higher education, they say that you should keep your sentences short and simple. But then the
Exactly.
higher up you go in the academic realm, the more they tell you, no, actually, you're supposed to write long run on sentences. But to me, the unending sentences are the true poetry of life. When you just say, like, I have a dog, my dog is brown, my dog likes walks. There's no poetry in there. It just doesn't sound right. But then when people, I don't know, this is very convoluted and like very, disconnected from the reality of what you just expressed, which is so beauteous. But what I'm trying to say is that
Mm,
you expressed it so beautifully that what I'm saying in comparison, it pales.
mm. Yeah, it's like what this current stage of awareness does for us is it gives us the wisdom, but then we have to be able to turn that wisdom into knowledge through the actions that we take. It like nothing is going to just be handed to us. We have to sacrifice something and we have to sacrifice something or a part of ourselves to find a different part that will fit the puzzle piece of our potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, everything
definitely.
comes with a price, for sure. All right.
It does, and that's what's very complex is that these days when somebody tells you like we do, when we say this is all free, this is non-profit, this is no sign up, no anything, no
Mm.
asterisks, no anything required for you.
Yep.
Like all you need to do is just soak it in and bask and appreciate whatever's being given. But a lot of people don't believe that because they're like, something must be hidden behind that. They must be trying to make millions of dollars. They must be trying to grow a YouTube channel or do something. I'm like, no, it's really not what the case is. We're just
Mhm.
having fun with it, enjoying our lives. That's
Yep.
we're just speaking off the top of the head and
Yep.
enjoying and appreciating what we have.
Yeah.
And I feel like maximizing your potential really comes hand in hand with all of that. Because if
Yes.
you really truly are yourself all the time, and you don't have to put a political correctness etiquette on anything you're putting out there or whatever you're doing, then you have nothing to worry about. You're just being yourself 108% of the time, all the time, and you're just you. That's it. But then a lot of people are like, yeah, but I can't say this around that person. I can't say this around
Oh,
this
yo,
person.
dude.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Mhm. No, man.
No, please.
I have a past of like being around people who are like that. Especially like goddesses, like they're very careful of the things that they say around each other. Like guys, like they don't really care as much, but yeah, girls, yeah, they protect their image very well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it depends on which ones, of course. And I really appreciate that you called them goddesses in that sense. And you said goddesses and guys. That's a good balance to me because statistically, patriarchy is responsible for practically everything that we consider to be problematic with this society.
Mm-hmm.
But then goddesses, they're not to blame, but they protect their image for a very real reason. Many of them will do that for a reason because they realize they live in a patriarchal society where everything is framed against them.
Yep.
So they have to protect themselves in order to preserve their true image. Otherwise, men are just going to rip through them. And then that's what happens statistically very often in this society, very sadly speaking, you know?
Okay. Well, to kind of give us something to propel off of, and this will give us the foundation to talk about different things. I will pull a tarot card from this deck. So,
So let's do it.
okay, right here, boom. Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. It looks like kind of like a nurturing kind of energy. Like it looks like this girl has a purse. Oh, okay. It looks like this girl has like a purse and the pentacles are on the purse and she's like holding it like this. So it's kind of like protecting your investments and like nurturing your investments in yourself to make them grow, you know?
Yo, you define that
Yeah.
perfectly because
Yeah.
four pentacles is like the magic activation from a ground level, from the earth level that needs to happen in order. The wands need to activate the pentacles, and you need the energy from the cups to activate the wands so that you can activate the pentacle. And then you need the warrior aspect to be able to fend and fight off the physical forces of this reality that are trying to abuse you. But the other three fit hand in hand with each other. They're all related to magic. Swords are related to magic in a physical sense. But the Four of Pentacles is, like I was explaining in the past, podcast, is the crossroads of conscious choice. So holding the purse and the pentacles would be like protecting your magic to make sure that you can actually activate it on a higher level, to be able to know that you have the cups energy to cast a spell. You have the wands to be able to activate the pentacles, but you're holding on to the coins with the purse that give you the energy from the cups to activate the pentacles in order to be able to cast your spell. So you're at the crossroads of conscious choice. You're at the fourth density level. You're trying to activate into 5D or into 6D or 7D or 8D,
Mhm.
but you're at the four crossroads, which is like, that middle point.
Wow, the crossroads. Huh. That's that's deep. I like that. Huh. Why does it seem like people are lost? What creates someone who's lost? I feel like that's a lack of awareness, you know?
It really is. To me, it really comes down to, a lot of it comes down to, as much as we don't want to consider it that way, a lot of people think of the seven deadly sins as being the seven deadly sins. But I think only one of those is the deadliest, which is greed. So greed at the end of the day can translate into false self-awareness, into false self-care, into false self-recognition. Like, a lot of it can boil down to people spending so much time trying to benefit themselves that they forget about the rest of the world. They forget that they're abusing the rest of the world and trying to be healthy and being themselves. And
Oh,
that's
wow.
a very thin line to trace because almost all of us are guilty of that. But at the end of the day, if we're living, when I say almost all of us, I mean almost all of us with the privilege to be able to watch this, YouTube series, to be
Yeah.
able to have access to technology, to have a certain amount. If you're living in a so-called third world country, which is third world only because of colonial conditions, please remember, I'm not speaking to you. I'm not speaking to people who are in situations of abuse, warfare, all kinds of situations that are beyond the comprehension of so-called first world people. But that being said, when you're in that situation, you have to realize that, you're either living in or out of a certain amount of privilege, and B,
Hmm.
what you can do to change it is directly influenced by the amount of privilege that you have.
Yes.
So,
Mm.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, for example, just like observing the people in my environment or the people who I went to high school with and stuff like that. it seems like a lot of the younger generations are very kind of like spoiled in a way where like they don't respect like where they actually are in life and how much privilege they have, you know? And then people are either wrapped up in like emotional drama or things of that nature to yeah, it's just a big distraction, man. It's such a distraction of how you can control someone through their emotions and be able to like inhibit their growth through that, you know? Like I feel like it is in one of your lyrics that was like, yo, like um every like these relationships around me should be blossoming and growing, like instead of being like, you know, like the other way down, you know? Like we should be thriving.
That's deep,
Yeah.
and that means the world, because in this realm that we live in, everybody wants that. But I think we live in a capitalist, patriarchally controlled society, which actually redirects us towards having toxic behaviors towards each other, being capitalistic and hierarchical and hegemonic towards each other in order to gain a certain advantage temporarily over a person that we end up having to pay favors to back later because of the hierarchical relationship we created with them, which is a karmic bond. So
Mm.
somebody who taught me this, Prisca Theosophia, Prisca Theologia, long time ago, taught me that, you know, the difference between soulmates and twin souls and twin flames, and told me you only have one twin flame in your life. Now, I don't know if I fully agreed to that or not, but she told me she was my twin flame for this life, and I believed it at the time because it made sense. She explained to me that the person I was in love with at the time, I was in a karmic soulmate attachment to, and we were going back and forth between positions of inferior and superior hierarchy because we were
Uh,
constantly battling for supremacy, which is
mm,
toxic, but we had an
mm,
amazing relationship. I would say 96, 97% of the time. The other 3% was a battle for supremacy, but it didn't matter. It's just that we were still stuck in those old kind of like relooping reincarnation karmic lapses of reality that were overlapping with our current reality and stopping us from being fully who we were meant to be.
mm. Stopping us from being fully who we are meant to be. Nice. Let's talk about being able to tell the future and being able to see the future. From studying yourself, you can be able to map out your destiny and map out where your intuition is going to lead you to.
That's a really good point, because
Mm.
realistically, we're both Tsiganis, we're both black magicians, we're both
Yeah.
gypsies.
Yeah.
We both are from that lineage. We are meant to predict the future. That's in our birthrights. So to me, this is what I do in hip hop. This is what I do in poetry. This is what I do in writing, in prose, in poetic expression, in artistic depiction, and graffiti. But it takes a while for people to realize that this is related to numerological consciousness or numerology in that
Mm.
sense.
Mhm.
So if you look at it that way, that would be like the seventh sense. Self prophecy is manifest destiny. So once you have access to your seventh sense, which is an archangelic principle, then you can actually manifest your destiny the way that you map it out for yourself. But doing it in mnemonically encrypted phonetic sequences is more efficient, because the mathematical rhyme schemes, they align in a certain pattern, which allow you to manifest that more quickly through your chakra frequencies that activate through your body from the bottom chakra to the top one, from Muladhara, or even from what
Wait,
is
so,
considered
sorry,
the
I
zero
didn't quite catch that.
chakra up to the crown chakra, and beyond that to the
Yeah.
cosmic dragon.
Okay, okay. I want you to go deeper on that because I didn't really catch what you said. Like I didn't really like grasp the meaning of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what I'm trying to say is that essentially the
Mm.
energy that we manifest, which allows us to bring into reality the manifest destiny that we're meant to live. If I'm speaking these words, but I'm aligned with the chakras in my body and I'm in a chakra frequency,
Yeah.
which allows that to flow freely from the base to
Oh.
the bottom of Agartha in the center of the earth, all the way up into my feet chakra, from Patsakati to Janumana to the knee chakras to Muladhara to the root chakra, up into 0 point chakra, which is, I forget the name I gave to it. I had to coin a name for it because nobody had explained that. In India, they know what those chakras are, but there's 36 main chakras in the body, most of which are associated with marmas traditionally. So that one would be, I called it in translation in English, it's a 0 point inverted lotus chakra. So it's, now I forget what I gave as a name for it in Sanskrit or in Sanskrit language, but basically it's a chakra that doesn't have any density or dimension point. It's sitting in the midst of what would be considered to be the black hole of the toroidal force field, which activates your entire shield that protects your body. So that would be somewhere between Muladhara, and essentially it would be close to where you would consider to be the navel of your body. So that's I call it 0 point chakra. It's like the black hole sun chakra, essentially. Like it's where the black hole activates in your body and channels the energy from the earth that comes through your feet chakra and your knee chakras all the way up to Muladhara, and then channels into up into your navel, into the birth point of where you were created physically, and then goes up into the further chakras. They tell us that we've talked about this before in a previous in a previous interview, but we didn't really get into the depths of how that connects to those chakras. They don't explain the feet chakra, they don't explain the knee chakras, they don't explain the elbow chakras, the hand chakras, the eye chakra, the third eye chakra is explained, but the eye chakras are not even considered to be chakras. The ear chakras are not considered to be chakras. The nose chakra is not considered to be a chakra. The mouth chakra is not considered to be. There's so many different chakras that are forbidden and forgotten. So we end up being like wandering ghosts with 7 spinal chakras, being like wandering, wavering snakes in existence in the form of this metaphysical reality that we live in. And then we don't have a full grasp of how we can manifest our consciousness. Because if we don't even have a chakra for our mouth, then how can we manifest our self-destiny? How can we self-profess our destiny?
Self-profess it simply. Intrinsic blessings in my presence. Yeah. Yeah, man. No, that's spot on. Definitely. Yeah, being able to, like, if you looked at like how like a motivational speaker speaks, they speak with their heart, and they speak with conviction and faith, belief, confidence, all of these attributes that generate power and generate that, yeah, just that explosiveness of just like, yeah, there's still hope. There's still hope to grow. Yeah.
There definitely is. There's immense amounts of hope all across the globe, all across the planet. But people don't seem to want to realize that sometimes, because there's like a polar opposition, and there's a whole spectrum in the middle, obviously, that I'm not addressing when I'm speaking of this. But if I look at the polar opposites, there's people that are like, I'll never do anything right. I'm a hopeless, eternal sinner. That's just who I am. And there's other people that are like, I know about all this. The world is fucked. It doesn't matter. I'm doing whatever I want to do, and I'm good with that. I'm happy. This is good. This is fine. I'll say a prayer, and I'm good.
Yeah.
But then in between, there's this whole spectrum of people that are indecisive, that don't know what's right, what's wrong, how to determine what truly is good from evil. And we live in a society that blurs the boundaries so much, colonially speaking, that in this systemic structure that we live in this system that we have as a society, we're told constantly that right is wrong, wrong is right, and all these backwards concepts that are twisting everything all across the planet in backwards logic, even in religion and politics and advertising and everything. So it's so confusing that people have no idea what right and wrong is anymore. And it's so simple, because at the end of the day, we should trust our intuition. We should trust our prescience. We should trust our instincts. But our instincts are being blurred by neo-Nazi disruptive frequencies and technology, including, ironically, what we're using right now to communicate and disseminate this to people.
Yeah.
But it's like, you have to battle against this on a daily basis and be conscious of what's going on. Otherwise, you get overwhelmed by those forces.
Yes. Wow. Well said. Okay. Honestly, what you just said, like in the last like 2 minutes, that was boom. That was amazing. I'm definitely going to re-listen to this podcast because I feel like we spoke about a lot of just life lessons that are timeless and infinite, you know? So thank you.
Yo,
I
likewise,
feel like that's a
likewise,
good place
always,
to end it on.
always.
Yeah, well, let's go forward, you know? This is not the end, but it's the beginning. So let's go forward and manifest our destiny, you know? Self-profess it simply.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's the best way to put it in essence. No
Yeah.
question.
Okay. So yeah, I bless the space. Thank you to all of the forms of energy that tuned in, and let's grow. Let's do this. Let's go forward, forward and up.
Peace and infinite blessings. No question. One
Peace.
love.
One love.